number 9. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me, from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Got it in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
And what's up, everybody? It is a Friday here on the Ysn Power. Let's get this. One Rob's got to go, and one Rob's got to show. There he is. He's back.
What's up?
It's Friday, Rob. It's Friday here in the Valley. It's Friday everywhere, at least here on in the United States. I don't know all the other time zones. We're not going to get into that garbage. But it is National App Day here on the Ysn Power Hour. So the question, funny, because we were just talking about apps, what is your favorite app? And I'm not talking about appetizers. I'm talking about the apps like on your devices. So what is your favorite app that you could not live without if you had to? CJ, we'll start with you.
So I use my phone a lot. I use Twitter a lot, Instagram, obviously the social medias. Games, love myself Clash of Clans. That's an older game, but something I can't live without. I play it constantly.
So Clash of Clans is the app?
Clash of Clans, love it.
All right. Donnie, the app you can't live without.
Well, I mean, now that he mentioned games, I'd have to go with Empires and Puzzles. It's a really good game. I think I've been on it for about 5 years now. It's incredible. Like, you basically start from scratch, from the ground up, like most games, and then you build alliances with people, and you have battles and wars and everything else. But it's all strategy and everything else, so it kind of keeps you with it. You know, so you're basically always thinking about your next move with Empires and Puzzles, and it's a lot of fun, very, very addicting. I try to play it when I don't have anything else going on, obviously. But then my other favorite app would have to be Robinhood right now, with all the crypto and everything else that's going on. It's always fun to watch all that unfold. Hopefully make some money here and there for some Vegas trips. So
I like it. Little see, I'm a Coinbase guy for my crypto.
I also have Coinbase.
Yeah, I like Coinbase a lot. Rob, this could be crazy. I can only imagine what your favorite app is.
Well, first of all, I've already heard two lies, because everybody's favorite app is pretty simple here. I shouldn't be giving this app any kind of kudos because, God forbid, if you call anybody a jerk face, all of a sudden you're thrown in Facebook jail. Do not pass go because we have no good Facebook lawyers. Nobody can get me out of my own way. So God forbid if I say anything wrong, if I even try and replace all the vowels in the swear words with ampersands, I'm going right into the counter. The commissary is absolutely horrible. I don't know what to do. I'm sitting on my phone like I can't get into my backup accounts because my backups are associated with my main accounts on Facebook. It's an unbelievably tough life that I live. I don't know how I do it. Somebody, for the love of God, please help me. My favorite app is Facebook.
He's back in a big way. He goes to one comedy show and he brings all the good stuff right back. Spills one beer on himself. How much was that beer, by the way?
Dude, I almost lost it. So we're walking in because I nobody knows. We went to the Sebastian Minicasa show last night. One of the funniest guys I've ever seen in my life, nonstop. We're walking in because, of course, we pre-gamed. So, we had a few beers in this already. And we walk in, and she walks up to this older guy selling beer on the side across from the thing. And he looked up. And now, mind you, it's been a while since I've been to any big venue. So I know beer is expensive when you go to these places. It was at the Rocket Note Mortgage Fieldhouse, whatever. So he says it was like $30 for 2 beers. I'm like, what the heck? So then I went and met some girl named Gail. She was a doll face. So I said, hey, everything's cards now. You can't use cash. She goes, I go, are you serious? What the hell's up with that? She goes, honey, give me the $10. I give her the $10. She gives me the Bud Light. I go, hey, I'll be back. She goes, I got you, sugar. And all of a sudden, me and Gail are best friends. So she's pocketing the $10 every time I get a beer. I loved it. But no, what happened, I went to sit in the chair. They're so tight. It's literally like you're on an airplane. So I go to sit down, and I got my money clip that I'm leaving on my jeans. It clicks the freaking $15 beer that I just bought, goes all over my pants, and it looked like it was a dark spot. It literally looked like I peed my pants the whole time. So anyways.
Welcome back, buddy. We're happy you're home. Let's go to Trey. Trey, what's your favorite app?
I gotta follow that.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Feel your pain, Trey.
I'll just sell out for a bit. I'm gonna go with the YSN app. Get all your local sports scores and stories from around the area. You should go download it right now. So I'll go with
That's
the
my
YSN
guy
app.
right there. Right.
You stole DJ's thunder.
No, I wasn't even gonna plug our own app. People know it's out there. They know where to get to YSN. If they're watching this, they know that we're either on their app right now or we're on Facebook. We're not on Twitter. I guess we've been Twitter jailed.
We might want to stay off Twitter.
Why?
It's a war zone.
Is it really?
It's worse than Facebook.
We've been kicked off Twitter. I don't know for what reason. It's just this. It's just that our shows are kicked off. I don't know when they made the move to Periscope to Twitter Live, something didn't equivalate over. So I've talked to StreamYard. They don't know what's going on. So my favorite app, I want to start with my old favorite app. Do you remember Angry Birds?
Oh yeah.
Angry Birds. I talked to Sarah, my wife, last night about she'd never played it ever, but I loved it. I thought that was the greatest app ever, because we had a game like that when we were in school. When computers were absolutely new, it was a monkey throwing a banana, and you had to knock something off of a building, and I love that. So when we got Angry Birds, it was even better. But now there's I don't think Quinn's here anymore. World Golf or something, WGT.
Oh yeah, that's a blast.
Gosh, I love that. That's a dangerous one because you can get lost in the bathroom playing that game. You might not come out.
You can get some numb legs playing that game.
That's it, man. You stand up, you're going straight back down. Those are my favorite apps. I do like Facebook. I do like the social medias just to stay in the loop. I can't go anywhere. I feel bad because I was always that guy that was, okay, if you go somewhere without your phone, with your phone, you're a loser. Can't leave your phone on the table. I can't do it anymore. I can't. It goes everywhere with me. I'm afraid. It's not that I'm afraid I'm gonna miss something. My whole life's on here. That's it. If I lose it, if somehow the cloud pops, I'm done. I'm cashing in, boys. I'm gonna go live in a box in a van down by the river. So happy National App Day. I hope you guys get to enjoy your favorite app today, as hopefully you do every day. Rob already kind of gave us a little bit of the stories. I wanted him to give us any stories that he had from last night, because having Rob in big city like Cleveland, I can only imagine the stuff that happens. I saw the TikTok from your significant. What's your lady's name?
Expensive craft beer drinking jerk faced Barb Orvath. Yeah, that's her.
I was just gonna say Barb, right? She had the funniest one where she's all happy, and then she turns the camera just a little bit, and you look so mad. You're looking up at the prices, and was that staged or was that real?
Well, now of course at that point we know we're making a TikTok, so she just I have to roll my eyes. But the thing is, I want here's my thing. All right, I am what's a good word? I'm very frugalist with money. I spend money. I am not cheap when it comes to certain things. Frugal. What I say, frugal? Yeah, whatever. Frugal. So certain things, I'll just drop money like it's nothing. And then there's those other things where I'm so tight that you would just assume that I don't have any furniture in my house. We all sleep on cardboard boxes, whatever. And one of those things is overpriced beer. It drives me absolutely bonkers when I can go to one place and get a beer for $5, walk across the street, and now I'm paying triple the price. So stuff like that. But oh no, I was serious when that dude when I said how much was that, because we just left Harry Buffalo with just me and her, and I didn't know she did this, but she ordered us 2 shots because these 2 shots showed up, and she likes the tequila. I do the Crown Apple or whatever. Well, that's the other thing. Like, okay, we're doing shots. We know we're in Cleveland. They're going to be more money. But when I'm spending $20 on 2 shots, I get a little pissed off. I'm like, you know what? I should be at La Villa right now letting Trish get me drunk off my ass with her $4 shots, not up here paying, So between us two, our bill was like $80 in plus tip, whatever. So we go across the street. She buys the first round. It was when he said $30, I mean, seriously. And then you can imagine my face when I spilled it. I swear, I thought it was going to fall out. I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going back. But no, it was it was disturbing. But then, I was like, screw it. It's not like we do this every night. So, and then I met Gail, and she pretty much saved my life. So.
And then I met Gail. That's going to be the name of your book. And then I met Gail.
Sweet as pie.
Let's go to our Baird Brothers Would You Rather, brought to you by friends over at Baird Brothers. Visit them on the web at bairdbrothers.com. Their family's heritage, your family's home. Go ahead, Rob.
All right. Would you rather travel the world for an entire year, all expenses paid, or have $50,000 to spend on whatever you want?
I mean, all expenses paid. I'm going to make
all expenses.
I'm going to max out 50 easy.
I'm thinking so. I mean, now like when they say all expenses paid, what they're talking about is, of course, you're not paying for flying, room and board, and we're going to just go with let's say three meals a day.
Yeah, I'm doing that. 50 grand. You could blow 50 grand. I could blow 50 grand just paying my bills off.
All right, what's a good number then? Let's up it. Let's say
a mil. I'd say a mil. If you want to do something, that's going to make you at least think about it.
All right, we'll do that. Because I total agreement. I don't like that number either. When you think about it, I mean, I could go to Dubai and do 50,000 in what, an hour?
Yeah, I would do a mil. If we're doing a mil, I would do a mil.
Travel the world for a year, all expenses paid, or you get $1 million to spend however you want.
I'll take the $1 million. Like, travel. Have you guys ever been in a TSA line? Oh my God. Have you ever been taken out of a TSA line? That's the better question. That is what makes you not want to travel. That is, like, I was in Memphis and I got taken out of it because I had cargo shorts on and they were all bunched up. There was nothing in my pockets, but I learned that day that you go with sweatpants or you go with gym shorts and that's it. Like, you don't do jeans, you don't do any of that stuff, nothing with a belt. Nothing with zippers. Because, dude, I thought I was in... Remember that room in Independence Day where they had the alien? Like, yeah. That's the room they took me into. And I thought I was freaking out, man. I was freaking out. I'm just a kid from East Palestine. I'm not trying to be a terrorist. CJ, how about you?
I would probably travel the world for a year. I've actually never flown. So yeah, never.
Oh,
So,
it sounds like CJ's going somewhere this year.
yeah, so yeah, I would like to travel a little bit.
Are you afraid to fly?
No, I've just never flown.
Okay.
I'm going to Vegas in March.
Are you walking?
So that'll be the first time I fly.
That a boy. Trey, how about you?
Yeah, I'm taking the trip too, man. I mean, I'm seeing everywhere though. Like I'm going absolutely everywhere. So, $1 million is tempting. It really is. But I mean, to see everywhere for a year too. A year, you don't have. That means you don't have to work for a year. I'm taking
Wait
the
a
trip.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait. You're 18.
I still work.
The world hasn't beaten you down yet. You
Okay,
shouldn't
no
be
school.
saying that.
No school then.
Where's the first 3 places you would go, Trey?
Abu Dhabi be the first one.
Like normal?
What?
That's way too old for you. It's
I
from
don't know.
Garfield.
Over the head. So Abu Dhabi, London, and probably the Caribbean. Be my first 3 stops.
Why? What's in Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi has crazy stuff. Like they have like the biggest like underwater aquarium in the world. They have a bunch of like crazy exotic cars that like you have to be like 16 to like drive these crazy freaking cars like, and it's not like it's insane. Like that place is nuts.
You sound like the dude that sold me on going to Jamaica and going to sandals for my honeymoon.
Nah,
I was
man.
like, oh, wait till you see Jamaica. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. You land and there's.
Oh, I'm
18,000
confused because he said you got to be 16 to drive these crazy cars. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean,
No,
don't
but
you got to be 16?
over here though. I mean, like if you're 16, they don't let you drive some go-karts at some places because it's too fast. Like I'm telling
Really?
you.
Oh.
Yeah. Like so to drive like a Ferrari at the age of 16 and to go like 101 on like a straightaway and all you have to do is sign a waiver, like that's
What
insane.
does the waiver say? If you wreck it, you bought it?
I don't know. I've never been in that position, DJ, but I mean, listen, that's what I'm saying. I'm taking the trip to try and be in that position.
Respect. I'm just honestly, I'm inquisitive. Abu Dhabi would not have been my top guess for you or anybody.
Maybe
Like,
fly
Abu
over
Dhabi.
to Yaz Island, see a UFC card, if they have one at the time.
Gosh, Donnie, what are you doing?
Listen, Trey, as when I was 18 years old, as my old Italian uncle used to say to me, I still stink of milk. What do I know? No, but anyways, I'm going to take the money only because there's other things I would do with the money that you're not going to be able to do when you travel. You know what I mean? That might be helping somebody out or doing something that you've always wanted get done around the house. Maybe make a suite, theater room or something along those lines. Just have something fun with that I can have for a lasting. Obviously you're only traveling for a year. 365 days comes up pretty quick. So, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of places that I really want to go other than where I normally go anyways. So, I'm taking that money.
I knew somebody would figure it out. My wife just texted me and said that's where Garfield shipped normal all the time. I knew somebody would have my back. That's why I got married. Rob, what are you taking?
I mean, the money is tempting. Like like Donnie's saying, you could get some things taken care of that'll actually last for the rest of your life maybe. I personally would have to take the traveling just to hit basically wherever I wanted to go in a year, and I'd be able to do a lot. And like if I was picking my first 3 places, I would probably say Cairo. I'm going to say Dubai, and then I'm thinking, crap, I don't know. Actually, I'd probably say France. And the only reason I would want to go through France is just to see like the crazy like the industrial or the streets and like the buildings and stuff like that, like Carmela did when she went on her trip in The Sopranos or whatever. But those are like the first things that pop out. But if you can go anywhere for a year and see that many things, I mean, that's the $1 million would be nice. But I don't know, man. Those some pretty valuable memories right there.
I guess it's like the golden ticket, right? You don't have
Yeah.
to worry about paying for anything. So 3 meals a day, that's plenty to get you by. I'm just like the destinations, guys. I'm really surprised. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm really surprised. There was a lot of thought that went into that little moment right there. So kudos to you guys. So there it is. Would You Rather, brought to you by our friends at Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Thank you, Rob, for today's Would You Rather. Today's going to be interesting. There's basketball. They got 17 games on the network tonight. We'll go over that in just a little bit. Let's catch up on some comments. Take the cash and go with me to Nashville. You'll need it. Naturally, Siggy gets into fights in Nashville, it sounds like. 1 million and YSN taking over the world. I love it. Amo. Amo's got a double dip tonight. He's got the Sebring Trojans girls and boys game. So, Amo, proud of you, man. Get out there and represent tonight on the network. One of the things I definitely wanted to talk about, it was one that I wanted to get to yesterday, but it turned into Kelly Pavlik Trivia Hour. Excuse me. The importance of role players to team success. And what I mean by this is everybody knows that, there's the star players, there's the role players, there's the coach. Role players get kind of a back seat all the time. But if you look at the games objectively, many times it's the role players that are winning games over the star players. You look at the situation in Cleveland earlier this year with OBJ. Can you have too many star players on a team from that situation? And it seemed like that was a resounding yes. So I want to talk today about the importance of being a role player, especially in youth sports and high school sports, and why it's so important to learn your role, understand your role, and fulfill your role on a team. So with that, Donnie, why don't you lead us off on this one and talk about how important it is to be a role player, whether you're a star or a grinder or otherwise.
I think that's the most important part of a team is the role player. Honestly, you look no further than the Salem girls basketball team. They are 6-0 for a reason right now. They don't care who is a star. Every one of them settles into their role. Cammie Rom could probably the tallest girl out on the court. It doesn't matter who they play, and she would rather yank down an offensive rebound and kick it out to a Riley Hutton or an Abby Davidson for a wide open three. It's just the role player, as long as it's defined and ahead of time, like, hey, this is what I need you to do, they can thrive in that situation. And teams that don't do well, they don't have a definition of what they're supposed to do. So it's, hey, if you get the ball in your hands, you're going to chuck it up in the air, or you're not going to do well helping on defense or anything like that. But the role player in itself is so vital to a successful team. And if you look at every successful team, whether it's football, basketball, college, NFL, anything, you look at that person and you realize, or you look at that team and you see the success of it. You look at how well those non-stars are playing, and that's it. It's almost like the fullback on a football team. How important a fullback is on a football team.
Well, we saw offensive line last night with the Steelers.
100%.
Rob, from your standpoint, how important is it to be a role player and understand your role on your team?
If you understand your role, I think that's one of the most important things. If let's say you're talking about a team that's put a championship drive together or getting ready to have one hell of a season, and regardless if it's a role player, starter, or a star, if that team has a team of individuals that understand their role and they're okay with that and they're buying into whatever they need to buy into to get things done, I mean, that's a huge recipe for success. I mean, you talk about role players, just to give you a really good example. How many times I've seen Dennis Rodman come into a basketball game and basically take it over without scoring a single bucket?
Yeah.
We're talking about rebounding. We're talking about him being sent in by the likes of Phil Jackson and Chuck Daly just to literally mess with the opposing stars' heads. And he would have them so befuddled and disgruntled and just totally out of their own minds that he would take them right out of their games. You talk about, let's say, Robert Ory. I'll never forget when he took that shot for the Lakers to get them past, Jesus, who was it, Sacramento? Or no, was it Portland? To get to the finals. And the top of the key, Robert Horry was he was a role player. He wasn't a starter. He was coming off the bench. The importance of role players and those role players knowing their role. If they know their role, those guys and those girls are key to get your team where they want to be for whatever season and whatever sport.
DJ, real quick, just to intercept on that Robert Horry comment. Because he's such a good role player, he has more NBA championships than LeBron, than Kobe, than Shaq, than all those guys, because he went to all those teams for a specific reason, for his role, and he brought that success, and they have all the championships. He has all the championships because of it. So,
Great point.
Big Shot Bob?
Great point. What's that?
Wasn't his nickname Big Shot Bob?
It may have been.
I don't know. I can't remember that.
You're making me hungry for wings now from Big Shot Bob's.
Jinx. Trey, from your standpoint, being a role player, it's tough sometimes to understand your role in the early going. But when you figure out your role, is it that everything clicks, things get more comfortable, the game slows down, things like that? Do you think that kind of weighs into it?
Yeah, I think everything becomes more relaxed when you know your role. A good example now is kind of the Ursuline basketball team. They're on a roll now. And that's purely because everybody knows what they're supposed to do. Everybody knows that Terrence is the man. He's kind of their star player. But, Jane Payne's the guy to get rebounds. Gino Luceni, you're the guy to, be our wing defender and kind of lock down their best player on offense. So the fact that everybody knows, and they only have a 6-man, 7-man rotation right now. That's at least until they get Brady back. I don't know if he's playing tonight, but, until they get Brady back, they're running 6, 7 guys, and, they're dominating teams purely because everybody knows what they're supposed to do. You don't see our big guy coming out and taking contested threes because that's not what he's going to do. It's not what he's supposed to do. So the fact that everybody knows what they're supposed to do and when they're supposed to do it, you can get into a better game flow and kind of get into your offense better. And I think everything works out better.
Well, you're a perfect example because last year during the baseball season, you were a starter, you were a reliever, you were a closer. They used you in every different role. What role were you? Like, when did you decide your role, or were you just what we consider a floater?
So going into the season, I was our number 2. I was like our number 2 guy, maybe number 1. It kind of flip-flopped. Me and Jonah basically started most of the games.
Sure.
It ended up being that we play a lot of our games on Monday, and by the time Friday, Saturday rolls around, I have innings left, but Coach Weimer, he was the type of guy to protect arms, so he didn't really want us going to start too many games in a week if we didn't have to. But if it came down to a situation where, hey, we're up 1 run, and we can either go to a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience and hasn't been dependable, or we can go to a guy who started games and me and kind of gotten us through times, then I'll go in for a close. And it was kind of all over the place because we did have injuries too. Luka being hurt didn't help, so I also had to play a little bit of the field at positions I wasn't comfortable with. So that also took a tax on my arm and some of the other guys' arms. So injuries played a big role on that. And it was definitely more frustrating when we were injured to not know who's doing what and when they're doing what, because we couldn't get into a consistent groove of, hey, this guy's starting this day, and this day. And we don't have to worry about him maybe having to come in because we have the rest of our bullpen healthy. So it plays a huge role.
CJ, on to you. As the head Bobcat, when you look at roles, I mean, you dice them up and you say, okay, this is my leadoff hitter. This is my 3 hitter. This is the guy that's going to produce RBIs. This is the guy that's going to get on base. This is the guy that's going to get us back around to the other side. This is my ace. This is my closer. How important are roles to you?
They are so crucial to having a successful season. The most important thing from a coaching standpoint is communication. If you pretty much talk to your players up front, say, listen, this is what we see from you. This is our plans. It's going to make things a lot easier for the player to sort of just absorb it and understand, okay, I'm not going to be the number 3 hitter. I'm not going to be the ace pitcher that starts on game 1 or whatever. Having a bullpen guy is so crucial. Even just having a pinch runner. Because in the Whippeals and in Arley, I'm not sure what the rule is around here. You're allowed to pinch run, courtesy run for your pitcher and catcher. Mm-hmm. Our catcher's not fast, so we need a pinch runner. But having that guy that's dependable, that has his helmet on, ready to go every time, is so crucial. When we won WPIALs in 2019, we had 14 seniors. You can only start 9 kids. Those 5 other seniors probably could have started on any other team. They were that good. Just understanding your capabilities, understanding who your teammates are, and sometimes you're just not you're not the best player. Just understanding who you are, who your team is. But communication is the important factor in that. The coach has to be upfront and honest with their players. Tell them, listen, this is what we have planned for you. This is what we see from you and what we would like you to do for us.
So that's the crazy word, communicative, right? Communicative. So it's easier said than for most people than me. Here's a question we're going to go to when we come back from break. What do you think is more important to winning a championship? Star players or role players that know their role and excel at that role? We'll answer that and all of your questions when we come back on the Ysn Power Hour, powered by these great sponsors.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour. We got CJ, we got Trey, we got the Don, and of course we have the Cleveland superstar himself, Mr. High-Priced Beer, down in the right-hand corner, Mr. Rob Bush. Guys, before we split for break, Amo asked us a question. I'll see if I can grab that real quick. Here it is once again. What do you think is more important to winning a championship? Is it star players or role players that know their role and excel at that role? Rob, let's kick it to you first.
Most important, if you don't have any star players, I seriously doubt you're going to go that far anywhere. I hate giving this man any kind of kudos because I'm just not a fan of him anymore. I haven't been since 2016. But we've seen what LeBron James did with that team when he was taken all the way against San Antonio. That was your star literally carrying an entire organization on his back. So I would say that they're equally as important when it comes to runs like in high school, college, some pro teams. You can't have you're not going to have any championships without star players. Come on, let's be realistic. You could give me one great NBA basketball player, or give me 5 role players, and those 5 role players might make it to the first round, but they're not making it out of it. The star is going to get deeper into the playoffs. Role players are very important. And I would say they're equally important on certain levels, but if I had to pick, star players.
It's an interesting topic because I started thinking about it when you said that. I can't think of one team that has won a championship professionally or even collegiately without a star player on their roster. And you guys
can't.
know, it's impossible.
If you can't, I don't think there's any way we're gonna find this to be answered, because you can't do anything without studs. There's a reason why some people graduate high school and they go to Division I or they go to Division III school 3 hours away. Mm-hmm. There's a reason, with that level of talent. So, like, I understand the discussion, should stay. Yes, role players are very important for championship runs. But if I had to pick, I'm going to go with what's going to get me to that championship almost every time.
There's no wrong answer. That's for certain.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
it's a great point. Let's, Donnie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with Rob on this one too, because he brought up 2016, but how about 2017 when Kevin Durant ended up going to the Golden State Warriors? I mean, he's not a role player; he's a superstar. So, yeah. I mean, I think in some of these other sports, like maybe like baseball, there's some low budget teams that have had success and stuff like that, but those guys are still really good. I mean, that's I can't see the team being anywhere near a championship without having some star players. So I would have to say, again, star, but role is still vitally important. I mean, there's still, in an NBA game, they average 110 points a game. The superstars on the team, the big three of every team, they're scoring 80% of those points, but there's still those other 20% that need to be scored. So that's where the role players come in, but you're not getting anything done without a star player.
I got a text message, the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, Atlanta Braves.
Freddie Freeman.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, they had Acuna. They did it without Acuna, but they have Freddie Freeman. Like, it's not like they have a lack of star players on that roster. Trey?
Yeah, I'm gonna go star player here too. I mean, in terms of, let's talk about basketball since we got games tonight. One star player on a basketball team makes the 4 other role players 10 times better. Because if you think about it, if a star player gets doubled, that means one of these role players is getting way more open shots than they would with 5 role players as opposed to 1 star. So stars make role players better, which leads to championships. Without any stars, you don't win championships. That's simple.
CJ?
So I think it depends on the sport. So basketball, yes. Basketball is a very superstar-heavy sport because you have 5 guys on a court, and LeBron James can basically play 3/4 of that game. Baseball is way different. It just is. Your superstar could go 0 for 4 that day with 3 strikeouts, but your no-name left fielder hits 3 home runs that game and you win somehow, right? It's different in that regard because there's so many aspects to baseball that creates a winning team. Now, I will say in 2020, the Dodgers beat the Tampa Bay Rays. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay was basically made up of just some, really solid players.
No.
Yeah, they were made up of solid players, but there's no genuine superstar there. The Dodgers had the superstars. They had Mookie Betts, they had Cody Bellinger, Seager, all those great players are going to make billions of dollars in their careers. But that's the difference. Baseball, you can have a really good team that makes it to a championship. Maybe they don't win it, but at least they make it. But that's the difference for me.
CJ brings up a good point, though, with baseball. We were talking earlier about, too many studs on a football team, too many studs on a basketball team. But baseball is that one sport that you can have studs everywhere and still be okay. You're not going to have the ego, per se, because the ball doesn't get hit to shortstop every time. You know what I mean? So I think that's the only sport where you can get by with everybody on the team having the ego. I guess the only battle would be is if your catcher's got the biggest ego on the team, he doesn't play every game, or your DH or your first baseman, whatever, they don't play every game either. So I think baseball, by far, you can have as many egos as you want.
And honestly, even if you do have the superstars, it doesn't mean you're going to win every game. The Dodgers for the last decade have been
the thing, CJ,
terrific.
You say that, but when's the last time an MLB champion was crowned without superstars on that staff?
In 2015 with the Royals.
Oh.
I mean, they were made up of a lot of really good players, but the only superstar I guess you could say maybe Hosmer was, but I mean he had like 90 RBIs. Salvador Perez is very good, and he had 40 home runs this last year, but at that time I don't think he was necessarily a superstar. I can't really look at any of the players. They had a terrific bullpen. The three-headed monster of Herrera, Holland.
Alex not a superstar either, but he
was a good player.
He's a good player.
But like, would you look at Alex Gordon and say he's Mookie Betts? You know, I wouldn't.
But you know what I'm saying. It's not like the Pirates are in contention for the championship every year.
Well, the Pirates, they had their superstar. McCutchen was their superstar, and he dragged them for 3 years to being a really good team.
But he stunk in the playoffs.
True, yeah,
which
very
made
true.
Role players have to step up, like Marlon Byrd.
And,
you
but that's what I'm saying is baseball's different in that regard. Is you're going to need 25 guys on your roster, now 26, to really put you into the playoffs.
But baseball is a different beast completely, I think. And I think that's what you're saying, because it's a lot of one-on-ones the entire game. You know, it's not like you're going up against other people. Like, your third baseman's not going to pitch an inning for you unless you're up or down a lot. Where in football, listen, if you got a weak left tackle, guess who the defense is coming after? You know, like, you can only face that one player that if you're in a slump in baseball, you can only face that guy 3-4 times a game. That's the only shots you're going to get. And it's not like you can try to control where you're going to hit the ball. But if your left fielder stinks, guess what? Like, they're going to pitch you a lot of outside because they're going to try to get you away from that left fielder as much as possible. So, point taken. Very well very strong point, and very well said, my friend, from that standpoint. All right, there was another one that I had here for you guys. Here we go. I think this is a quick one. Sports and academic success. Is there a connection? So what I mean by that, it's pretty self-explanatory. Do people that play sports, kids, whoever, are they more successful in the classroom because they participate in sports? Yes, no, maybe, and we'll go reverse gate. CJ, you get the first dibs.
So it depends on the student. A hardworking student generally understands that without the academics behind them, whatever they do athletically doesn't really matter. It maybe matters for high school, but if they want to go on, they're going to have a really tough time, getting into college. So a really gifted athlete that understands, the academics has to be behind them, probably. I have students. They're really talented on the baseball field. The academics just aren't there, and they need more help. So it's more of a team effort, just understanding if you need help academically, you're going to get that help. It's going to make things a lot more easier for you athletically.
All right, Trey. Uh-oh. Trey's he's either frozen or he is locked in on something.
If he's locked in, I want to know what he's looking at right now.
My guy is locked on. Oh, yeah, there he goes. He's spinning.
He's looking at the big dogs of the valley voting right now.
Yeah, he's trying to understand who's voting that many times in the course of the last 44 minutes. Let's hang on. Let me get rid of this Trey. Remove, and there's Trey. Trey's back. Trey,
my Wi-Fi died.
Your Wi-Fi died.
Just like, I don't know what happened.
You were pretty intense, man. Like, your freeze frame was locked on.
I know. I'm glad you got rid of that.
Talk to me about you're a student athlete right now. What's the correlation between being an athlete and your academic success?
Now, everybody might not agree with this, but I think that there's not necessarily a link between the two. My example would be this. I know a lot of 2.0 GPAs that are 5-star recruits for different sports. So I don't necessarily think it always there's always a correlation because let's be honest, if there's a receiver that runs for something and is going to Alabama, I don't think anybody cares about his 2.1 GPA and that he's failing religion. Or not religion. Well, I already slipped up. Let's say religion.
Sold out.
Well, let's say religion. Or he's failing history. I don't think anybody that a college coach, I don't think they care. I don't think that there's a necessarily connection. I think that you do have your Dean Boyds of the world who have a 3.8 GPA and are going to Harvard to play football. I think they exist, but I don't necessarily think that there's always a connection between the two.
Are those guys unicorns nowadays?
I definitely say they're more rare because I feel like that kids nowadays know that if you're good enough at a sport, most of the time academics don't necessarily have to matter if you're good enough.
That's interesting because I've always heard the other way around. Some coaches are put off by a low GPA because it means that they're not going to understand the playbook.
I mean,
things of that nature.
for guys like me who are D3 and D2, academics matter a lot because you're not going to get a full ride because you're D2.
He's talking about studs.
But what?
You're talking about studs, right?
Yeah, like D1 guys.
Yeah, nobody cares what classes Maurice Clark failed or didn't pass, or when he came into Ohio State and did what he did that first year. Nobody cared about that.
No, but for guys like for D2, D3 guys, yeah, it matters. But most of the time, we're talking about D1 guys, doesn't matter.
Well, the only reason it matters is because every point your GPA goes up is like 5 years you don't have to pay student loans. That's the only reason it matters from that standpoint. Let's go, Rob. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think there's a big connection there, and there always has been. And what Trey's talking about is those studs that are going to come out of high school and they can basically write their own ticket when it comes to sports, which is fine. Okay, I ain't got no problems with that. If you think about it, even at a young age, sports is going to take a lot out of a younger person's life when it comes to other things they can get into or whatever. Not to mention the fact that I was reading this thing over here too. They talk about when you're playing sports, areas control and thinking, memory, learning. It basically promotes brain plasticity by stimulating the growth of new connections between cells and improving academics that way. So I think there's a huge connection when it comes to sports and academic success because, like we were talking about last week, I think Ohio State, you need a 3.8 GPA. Michigan, you need like a 3.84. You can't just roll into these colleges. I'm sure some of these studs can get some things finagled or whatever. We all know how that works. But for the most part, I would say sports and academics associated with each other. If you take a really good example is the majority of student athletes. Look at those GPAs for the student athletes and then compare those GPAs for a majority of the kids that are involved with sports. And I'm not talking about, the brainiacs. I'm just talking about the majority here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just assume that the GPAs are going to be collectively higher for the student athletes than the kids just going to school to get by.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't think we've ever seen that, case study, but I would imagine you're probably on the right track. Donnie, as the Don father, you got to give a little bit of thought into this because you got kids of your own, and obviously you were a student athlete yourself, and grades and sports go hand in hand, right?
Yeah. Well, let me preface this because I don't want to come off as a jerk right now. I was an A, B, and sometimes C student. That being said, we do not allow anything less than an A in our household right now with our kids.
Wow.
There's the reason why I say that, and I don't want to sound like a jerk. The reason why I say that is they have an infinite supply of resources that they can go to for anything that they have trouble with. And if they're going to work that hard in something extracurricular, your best bet is they're going to work even harder academically as well because nothing's guaranteed to them athletically. So it's more rewarding to me when I get a text message from Mackenzie's chemistry teacher saying, I can't believe she's my best student, in all of chem, or her Italian teacher saying she's my best Italian student across all of Italian. You know what I mean? Like that stuff means more to me than anything because I know that and trust me, I'm not helping her with any homework. I know none of that stuff. So I know that she's putting the time in that she needs to, on top of all the time away. She's constantly at practice or games or wherever. So she's putting in all that extra time. And my oldest is as brilliant gets. And my son's like, I call him young Sheldon sometimes. But honestly, I mean, I don't want to sound like a jerk, and everybody has different parenting and stuff like that. And listen, it's perfectly fine how anybody wants to parent, but we absolutely refuse anything less than an A in our house.
Screw that, man. Could you imagine if everybody else's parents were like that? China wouldn't be passing us up in 5 years. I guarantee you that.
Exactly.
I would have no chance in the Riccatelli house.
And listen, and then as a coaching standpoint, like for 10 years, Jeff Hamilton, I coached under Jeff Hamilton. He implemented a 4.0 dinner. So every one of those girls per 9 weeks now, every one of those girls that got a 4.0 for that semester or for that 9 weeks got to go to dinner. And I'm not talking we got to go to McDonald's or Burger King. We went to Springfield Grill. We went to Johnny's. We went to Michael Labarini's, and we spent money on them because it is rewarding for them to work as hard as they do on the court and in the classroom.
I love it, man. I think it's
Me
fantastic.
too. I'm a huge fan of that.
To be able to, and that's the thing is, you work hard in your business life or your work life, right? A lot of times you're rewarded, whether it be financially, monetarily, with trips and things of that nature. I think we need to start doing that more for these kids and let them understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not always, I always throw and when I talk to classes, not to get, preachy, but when I started to go to church when I was younger, they always told me what was going to happen when I died. Well, I was 6. I'm not, as a 6-year-old, you're not concerned about what happens when you die, and you got a long way to go to get there. Why is it important to be, go to church now? Why is it important to kind of be rooted in your faith? That's the same thing that most schools still do is they say, okay, you need these grades to get to this place. Well, there's a long time between kindergarten and your working life. So I love what you're doing and Hammer's doing and Boardman's doing out there. I think that's fantastic. I think more teachers need to do that. And I think parents would be more apt to foot the bill if they know their kids are getting great grades.
And DJ, another thing too, and it's not just athletically. One of the great things that Boardman does is any 4.0 student in the senior class, they get to take a teacher of their choice to dinner. And now listen, I'm not talking about a high school teacher. A teacher that's made a significant impact on them throughout their academic career, they get to take to dinner. Now, mind you, the resources are a little bit more plenty-some at Boardman than some other schools. But if every school adapted that, in the connection between a student and a teacher on that level, if every school could adopt that, it'd be incredible. I mean, the relationships would never waver.
You would never, and not that teachers do this, but you'd never have a situation where you go, do I put the extra work in now or am I too tired?
Right.
You always put the extra work in. And,
right.
And the kids would feel the same. The kids are tired too.
If every school focused on actually getting these kids ready for adult life and worrying about their grades, and I'm not saying this about every teacher. We all know we have some great teachers out there. Mm-hmm. But the majority of our educational system, we get into this whenever we want down the road, but it's simply screwed up. The idea is to get these kids in and out. If they're not passing, float them. Let's go. We need the numbers. We need the money from states. We got to get these kids done. But
that's unfortunate.
The teachers and parents took Donnie's approach, I mean, like I said, I said it as a joke, but I'm being dead serious. We wouldn't have to worry about China in 10 years or 20 or 30 years if our kids took that route instead of worrying about just getting done with school and finishing that Snapchat.
Right.
I love it. All right, boys, it's time. Here we go. It's time to start your weekend with a bang, with a spark, actually. It is your Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our great friends over at DickeyElectric.com. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, you go to the official electric supplier of your sports network, Joe Dickey Electric. CJ, lead us off, brother.
Yeah, so I have 2 positive sparks today. I finished my last class at Youngstown State University earlier today. So I'm set to graduate next Sunday. So very excited about that. And Another positive spark back home. I've talked about these guys a lot. Aliquippa just won the PIAA state championship in 4A, and I did the math to kind of connect it to, the local area. That would be like if East Palestine went up to the NE8 and dominated South Range, Girard, Hubbard, just dominated all of them. That's kind of what the equivalent, would be. Aliquippa, they are something else.
Nope.
Graduating class of 50, and they just won the Quad A state championship.
Congratulations. Hey, first, congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
That's
absolutely. Congrats.
Proud of you, buddy. We only bigger and brighter down the road. So now you get to push that schoolwork out of the way and get down to the nitty gritty. So we're excited for your next chapter. Rob, wait, no, time out. We always do this to Donnie. Donnie, you're going first.
Listen, I'll go after Rob. I don't mind going after Rob. It gives me.
Oh no, it's going to be a good one today. So
yeah, Donnie, go.
Hey, listen, my positive spark is going to be I get to call the Boardman Ursuline game tonight, the boys game. It's going to be fun, exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of scoring going on. Both teams seem like they're going to be pretty well prepared. So I'm super excited to call that game on YSN and looking forward to a great weekend. I think Cleveland has it's a put up or shut up time for them on Sunday. They have to basically annihilate Baltimore on Sunday. So hopefully when Monday comes rolling around on our next show, I have a little bit extra smile on my face because of it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go to Trey.
Yeah, I got two. I got a negative and a positive. I'll go with the negative first and then end with the positive. The negative is that I saw on my timeline that Demaryius Thomas passed away today. He was 33 years old. Very sad to see a receiver who was just in the league and just won a Super Bowl not too long ago pass away. So condolences to his family. Positive spark, though, is we have a very, very action-packed weekend full of sports. Tonight, I get to see Ursuline beat Boardman. And then tomorrow, there's a very packed UFC card. And Sunday is obviously NFL Sunday. So very packed weekend full of sports. And, yeah.
Trey, I'll get you a Boardman T-shirt after the victory tonight. So.
I don't.
Wait, are you guys betting on this?
I mean, I might as well. What size shirt are you, Trey?
I'm.
Are you a medium?
Yeah.
That might fit on this bicep.
Right, we'll put it right there.
I'm a medium, but I don't need any towels to wash my car off with. So.
Wait, are you guys betting whoever loses has to wear the shirt?
That's fine.
That's fine.
I'll wear. Listen, my dad graduated from the U. My dad graduated from Ursuline. I'd be proudly would wear that shirt. But
there are some serious.
Parents might drop 30.
Ursuline did not make the power rankings.
I know. I almost said
they
something.
They had a loss to start the year, though, so that wasn't. It's not their fault.
No.
I think they make it this week. However, with 2 losses, though. However,
yeah,
I love. Listen.
All right.
Trey is me when I was 18. Like I had that swag, that attitude, everything else. Don't ever lose that. I'm going to tell you, this is your future talking to you right now, Trey. Don't ever lose that swag. I'm telling you.
You think it's bad now? Wait till baseball.
Totally
agree. Your future also has a giant bottle of something right behind him.
It literally is a giant bottle of Bird Dog Peach.
There it is.
It's the biggest bottle they sell.
Embrace your future, son.
Don't drink too much of that after the blowout, though. I mean,
Oh man,
you don't like to drink when you're sad.
All right, Rob, what you got?
All right, so we have 2. First, a positive, and then we'll finish with the rant. Positive. I'll tell you what. I was watching NBC and WFMJ and the other news channels to see the high school coverage for basketball, and I think it was like 2 games. And I'm sitting there thinking, more people have. Everybody's really got to get on board with this YSN thing and understand how much coverage is really going on here. If you could turn on your local news that is covering the entire area, and they have 2 games to show you from high school, and then you switch over to YSN, and you're having like 30 a night. So the message has got to get out there. If you're not down with YSN yet, get your SHIT together because come on. They have every game. And not just the coverage, but the updates. Just go to the website, go to the Facebook page, and see whatever score you want. And I'm going to start pumping that out more on my Facebook page too. But negatively. This is a PSA for anybody that drives. So driving up to Cleveland yesterday and then driving back today, I was fastly reminded of just how many idiots can really get behind a wheel. Here's what I need you to understand. If you're traveling on the turnpike and you're traveling in the passing lane, I really seriously, I need you to realize that your ignorant ass is clearly allergic to being decent at life and just normal. I said, what I need you to do is pretend that you're going to catch a case of the Cool at Life cooties if you move when you see me flying up behind you, knowing that I'm going into the passing lane to pass you up when you should be 2 lanes over. I mean, you might as well be in the drive-thru ordering 10 number 10s with your big ass instead of letting me follow you for 10 miles. It is a passing lane. Passing, not travel. Move your butt over and please let me go by. Thank you.
He never disappoints.
No,
he
ever.
Never disappoints. Okay, what was the cooties? The case of the what?
I said pretend that you're going to catch a case of the being cool at life cooties if you move over when you see me coming.
Be cool at life cooties.
God.
That is awesome. Hey, there we go. Chase Claypool drives in the passing lane for sure. 100%.
Oh, without a doubt.
That leads me right into my. This is a tangent, and it's gonna be nice and short. Do you guys remember the story that came out a few years ago when the Pittsburgh Power, the arena team, the ownership left them at an Olive Garden? Like,
yes,
all the players.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have wished more last night that Dan Rudy would have packed up all the Steelers brass and taken their ass to an Olive Garden, the nicest Olive Garden in Minneapolis last night, and just hacksawed them all. Tomlin, Canada, Butler, see you later, don't need you. And Chase Claypool, you can take your celebrating everything in life act on the road as well. That was 3.5 quarters of the worst football I've seen, followed by another miracle of coming back into the game, which how a team is so bad for 3.5 quarters and then all of a sudden scores 28 points, I will never know. I'll never understand it. They had their stuff together in the final stages and still got the loss. But they're still eligible for the playoffs. They are not mathematically eliminated yet, which leads me to my positive spark, which is, and it's unofficial yet, we're still working out the kinks in it, but Donnie said something yesterday that really worked at my heart. And so we are working at YSN on creating a pajama drive, and we're going to call it, what was it? I forget it already.
Was it a night?
I want to call it a night before Christmas.
No,
but it's not
a creature was stirring. Not even what all. You showed me a thing. I can't go on my phone and look at it, but
and to all a good night.
And to all a good night. Yes.
It made sense, right? So everybody, to all get a good night pajama drive, because if you have pajamas, then you have a good night's sleep. So and take that from somebody who used to sell mattresses. So I'm not going to say I, because it's going to take all of us to do this. Next Sunday, obviously, CJ, we know you're a little bit busy, but we're going to have a pajama drive that's going to benefit the Mahoning County Children's Services and the Columbiana County Children's Services. And we're going to do it in the form of, essentially, get Donnie back here. We're going to do it in the form of, you remember the old game of Around the World we used to play, like in the driveway? We're going to do it like that. So you enter by bringing in a set of pajamas, or you can donate $10 and do your thing. And however far you get is how far you get. And if you're the ones that's left, because it goes all the way around the world, then you got a half court and then a full court shot. Whoever's left standing, if they make the full court shot, we'll have a shoot off at the end, something like that. We'll figure it out. But this is for the kids. This is something. Donnie said it so eloquently, and I'm working on the promo right now. That can you imagine going to sleep in your clothes on a nightly basis? Like
as a kid, as an adult, I go to sleep.
Yeah,
whatever.
You go to sleep wherever you find a spot as an adult. But as a kid, to not change into pajamas, even just shorts and a shirt, stuff like that. Kids are going to sleep in jeans and things of that nature. So I want to. This is for the kids, and it's what we do across. We're not changing our path. What we do at YSN, is for the kids, the coaches, the programs, the communities, and this is right on line with what we're trying to do. So to all a good night, Pajama Drive, that's what we're going to start. We're going to do it next Sunday, to be determined. So if you're out there and you want to do it, just start gathering up pajamas, gather up your little ballers. Even if you're not a little baller, come in, enjoy it. We'll make sure there's some entertainment for you, and we'll have a good time. Probably going to be a couple hours in the middle of the day. Try to stay away from football as much as we can because we know everybody wants to do that. But we appreciate everybody's support on this. It's the first time we're just throwing it at the wall, see what sticks, and really whatever we could do to help these kids because that's what we do. You know, our hearts are big here. It has nothing to do with what we're not taking any money from this. No, I mean, we're going to lose money on it, and I'm okay with that because it's all going to go to the kids. And man,
where are you doing this at?
We're trying to figure that out right now. We were going to try.
Okay.
We were going to do Boardman, but they're booked for like 3 years. So we're going to find a local high school and gymnasium to do it. So we'll have more information hopefully on Monday. I got a couple calls while we were on the show, so I'll call them back and I'll let everybody know. So. That's the good news. I'm excited for that. To all a good night. Pajama Drive, the first ever, brought to you by Your Sports Network and Donnie Riccatelli, the man with the plan. I love it. I'm excited.
Listen, DJ, all it takes is people just to go visit a children's services and go see what they're going through on a daily basis.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate it. That is going to do it for our show. Gentlemen, have a great weekend. Lots of sports. 17 games on tonight. You can find them all at ysnlive.com/live. And, of course, Browns are on Sunday. The Steelers freaking stink. So good luck with that, boys. Be well, and I'll see you back on Monday.
YSN thanks you for watching.